Scarcity of proper soil create a difficult growing environment. Continuing upward, you are entering Krummholz, or crooked wood zone. In some cases, these stunted and beautifully twisted and gnarled trees with a height of no more than just 2 or 3 feet are more than 100 years old. These unique trees have adapted to survive in this often inhospitable location, as has a wide variety of wildlife that calls this mountain range home. Moose, black bear, and deer are among the larger species, while bobcat, beaver, porcupine, raccoons, foxes, and countless types of birds can be found on Mount Washington slopes. Even on the summit, mice, moles, shrews, and voles have all adapted to survive in this extreme environment. As your journey takes you further up the mountainside, notice it has begun to get a bit cooler and that the trees continue to get smaller. As the road goes on to its height of more than a mile in the sky, 6,288 feet to be exact, the climate changes with it, eventually reaching the equivalent temperature one may find 600 miles north of here in the Arctic tundra region. This is further exemplified by the truly stunning array of alpine flowers, lichens, and mosses, some of which can be seen preserved at the Observatory Museum at the summit. Just think of it, in the distance of just a few miles upward, you've now traveled from the more familiar hardwood forest of our region through the Krummholz to an area more like that of Alaska and Greenland. In total, there are dozens of rare species of plants found in the alpine zone of the Presidential Range. Plants like the dwarf cinquefoil live only in the White Mountains and nowhere else in the planet, and are listed as federally protected species. Many of these unusual plants, though small, are very old, and some varieties don't even flower until they are 20 or more years old. Overall, many experts believe this mountain's landscape that you're viewing to be more than 10,000 years in the making. So again, we ask, when leaving your vehicle to explore the mountainside, you're aware that the endless vistas are only one of the most obvious wonders. There is an amazing world just under your feet, which, if not cared for, could be lost forever. Never pick up or step on a flower. When you're out of your vehicle above tree line, please step only on the rocks. In this way, our fragile ecosystem will be something to marvel at for centuries to come. Scientific interest in Mount Washington has been ongoing for more than 200 years. In the last century, just the novelty of being here was enough to inspire whole books. One famous writer in the mid-1800s, T. Starr King, had this to say about the mountain's various climates.
I send you a greeting this morning from the cupola of New Hampshire. If perchance you are suffering from the heat when this missive reaches you, let your eyes cool themselves by reading that just outside the tip-top house, the mercury is at 34 degrees. The ride from the glen was very easy. We rose indeed by climate as well as ridges. It was July at the base, late September on the ledge, and November at the apex. Reverend Thomas Starr King.
Now, the tip-top house he refers to was built in 1853. You're going to see it in just a bit. It is the only original summit building that survived the Great Fire of 1908. The summit, as you'll see it today, has evolved greatly from how it all began so long ago. It's always been a hub of activity for travelers to the White Mountains. The summit community in the 1890s was a very busy place. It featured a large hotel, stage office, railroad station, and even had its own newspaper. Among the Clouds was the first and only newspaper ever to be published on a mountaintop. All visitors to the peak had their names published in its pages, along with the local news and gossip. In fact, the latest daily editions used to make their way down after hours on the